Cool. Well, thanks again, everyone. My name's Casey O'Toole. My brother Sean here, Sean O'Toole, and we're going to be talking to you about LinkedIn, which is one of the most effective way to generate high-quality leads, guaranteed. So, just a quick background on who we are. So, Sean and I we're brothers, but we're also real estate professionals. We are realtors with Keller Williams Realty here. I'm located in Santa Barbara. Sean's in Ventura County. And, even though we do real estate very effectively, Sean is primarily the real estate agent in our partnership. He invited me to join his group about 4 years ago because he was just getting very busy and he needed to, grow his team and expand. So he brought me onto his team. I was looking for a career change. But my personal background is not really in real estate. My background is more in data science. And so when I joined his team and Sean was explaining to me how we typically generate leads for realtors, door knock, you cold call, you can send out flyers, you hold open houses. It seemed to me at the time like a lot of work for what it's worth. It seemed like it was really difficult to try and convert a random cold call to a client, and kind of inefficient in terms of how often you have to do it, how much time is spent. So I quickly tried to figure out newer ways to generate business kind of automatically. So I was using my background in data science to create these newer lead gen systems using and leveraging automation. One of the first companies we created was called Lead Fossil, which was basically a mass email system. We were able to send out tens of thousands of cold emails to confirmed homeowners, and we had lead capture forms in the emails that were basically a home valuation. The confirmed homeowner would then fill out the home valuation form. We would consider it a lead. We give them a call, and that's really how I kind of broke into the real estate market here in Santa Barbara, which is a really competitive market. $1 million median home value. And we generated our first $10 million in sales almost exclusively from our cold email system. The issue with cold email, which many of you might realize, is that it's a finite source. So it's a finite resource. There's only so many people who have emails that you can get emails for in your particular area. And B, it's really hard to create that rapport via email immediately, right? So when you send out an email saying, hey, this is Casey, I'm with Keller Williams, we have buyers looking for a home in your area, here's a home valuation form, if you want to see what your home is worth, they get really kind of almost offended that you have their address on file and you know who they are and how to get a hold of them. And so we got a lot of negative pushback. And so even though it was effective in terms of generating leads, personally, I didn't really like that approach because we just got a lot of negative pushback. That kind of got us looking into other forms of lead generation automation. And then we kind of stumbled upon LinkedIn. In fact, Sean was kind of the one that kind of, he'll tell the story of how we eventually discovered LinkedIn as the way to generate business. So Sean, how did that go again?
Yeah, so we were, trying to think outside the box on how to lead generate, open up new channels of business. And one thing that we enjoy doing is we enjoy speaking in front of people. So we started meeting with HR directors of different corporations in our area, setting up kind of like lunch and learn scenarios. And it's effective. We got business from it. To this day, people still say that they see, that they remember seeing us talking at their different companies. Ultimately, what kind of sparked the aha moment for Casey is Casey was LinkedIn messaging one of the VPs of a larger corporation in our area, probably maybe the largest, and just wanted to thank him for allowing us to come to his company and present to his employees, about our employee benefit program, et cetera. And he immediately responds back going, hey, that's great. And at the time we were offering a kind of like a discount employee benefit of 20% back of our commission as a closing cost credit as an employee benefit. And so Casey mentioned that, and you know, in the I guess in the body of the message to this VP, he said, yeah, and they were really receptive towards the credit we're offering as a benefit because they work at, you know, this company. Well, Procore was the name of the company. So he immediately responds back saying, oh my gosh, that's great. Thanks for reaching out to me. I didn't know you guys were doing that. And by the way, I'm actually looking for a house. We should talk. And Casey called me. He's like, man, I'll tell you what, I just messaged so-and-so, and he just got right back to me saying, hey, he's looking for a house. And that's what kind of made us start thinking in terms of how do we leverage LinkedIn? I mean, it's very difficult to get through the front door of so many companies to talk to HR director for one, but on LinkedIn, you can find out who they are and connect with them and message them. And it's incredible. So as far as efficiency goes, it's really hard to pass LinkedIn as one of the best ways to market to targeted audiences for at least specific I mean, there's so many options, but we'll get into that. So
yeah. So the moment that VP, he responded to me that he was looking to buy a home, like I immediately thought, damn, this is so easy. And so I went in and I connected and I messaged every single person that worked at Procore manually. So like, hey, you know, we just did a home buying presentation at your company. I'm not sure if you're able to make it or not, but the main takeaway is that if you buy or sell a home through us, then we'll be able to give you a 20% credit at closing costs, toward closing costs at close of escrow. And even from that alone, people are like, oh man, I missed it. I wanted to watch it. You know, my wife and I are looking to be buying a house this year. Or like there was so much like positive, receptive replies to that message and that was through like manual messaging, that I then kind of started thinking of how can we do this in an automatic way while still coming across as customized and authentic. And it also kind of got me thinking as to why that works, right? So why does like cold prospecting via LinkedIn work way more effectively than cold calling or cold emailing? And you know, after just a few months, we discovered reasons why, and it totally makes sense. Here's a few ones. So you can really target well on LinkedIn. You can target the highest net worth individuals on LinkedIn. You can target CEOs, founders, partners, directors, VPs, you know, all of those high level executives, and message them directly. So you're not going to be dealing with like interns or students, etc. Secondly, it's a professional network. And so when you are messaging people on Facebook, for example, they're busy scrolling down through cat videos and they're just distracted by 12 other things. But people go onto LinkedIn to network professionally. And so if you're offering your product or services via LinkedIn, they already have that service-oriented mindset going into it. They're not going there to be distracted. They're going there to work. And so they're looking for, you know, articles to read, you know, other kind of self-improvement hacks, whatever they're doing. But it's just a great professional network. Also, what's nice about it is that you basically have your resume right there on LinkedIn. And so when you're sending out these direct messages via LinkedIn, people are looking at who you are, what connections you have in common, where you're from, what experience you have, what school you went to, all these different things that they're able to kind of build that rapport up front via LinkedIn, and you don't have to do a thing. Then they're choosing upon their own volition to respond to you or not. I mean, think about it when you're cold calling or door knocking. When you're cold calling, how difficult is it to explain who you are, why you're calling, and get them to be a client within the 15 seconds that you have before they hang up on you, right? Door knocking is a little bit better, but you don't know who that person is that you're knocking the door of because their resume isn't right there. But with LinkedIn, it's like you get to know the person before you actually know them, and vice versa. They get to know you before they actually know you. So by the time you guys are having a conversation on LinkedIn, you already kind of know that this is a person that I know, like, and trust based on his previous experience and mutual connections, etc. So the ability to build that rapport within a professional network is extremely valuable. Finally, the reason, like a big aha moment was no one's really doing this well, right? So you probably all know that you definitely get messages from LinkedIn that seem automated, and you can immediately dismiss them. But if you know how to do it well and you customize it you make it authentic, it goes above and beyond what people are expecting. And that compared to Facebook messaging or Facebook ads, it's way more effective. So, I mean, I think that LinkedIn today is where Facebook was 5 or 6 years ago, where right now LinkedIn's an absolute gold mine if you get into it early. There's people there that are looking for creating connections. And if you do it now, you'll be ahead of the game still. We've been doing this for 2 years now, and we're just still blown away with how effective LinkedIn is.
Not to mention everyone on LinkedIn, for the most part, has got a job. Or Facebook, you get people, this business is full of time wasters. So it's nice to be able to cut to the chase quickly. And it's like, okay, this guy is currently employed. Let's check that box off.
Exactly. So no worry about documentable income. If they've worked at Facebook or if they've worked at Microsoft for 5 years, they're probably a qualified applicant. So even so HubSpot even did a survey, and they realized that LinkedIn is 2.75% more effective in lead generation compared to Facebook and Twitter. So now that I've kind of explained to you why LinkedIn is the most effective platform for lead generation, let me kind of give you a background on how to leverage it and how to automate it, right? So we created an automation system. It's called, My Link Solution, where our system, it syncs with your LinkedIn profile. We'll then find the exact targeted audience that you're looking to connect with via LinkedIn using LinkedIn's premium account, Sales Navigator, and then we can send them automated messages. So what's nice about this is an example. This is a screenshot of what Sales Navigator looks like. This is one of our first searches in Santa Barbara. So I was looking for people who live in Santa Barbara, who have more than 10 years of experience in their current company, 10 years experience in general, and 10 years in their current position. So they are stable people, right? Who work in basically any industry except for real estate or lending, because you don't want to be networking with fellow realtors. Also, who have mutual connections and who have the titles of CEO, CFO, founder, owner, partner, director. So all of the most affluent people. So we find those people who live in your area who are affluent, and then we put them into an automated messaging sequence. So our system sends out 100 invite messages a day on your behalf. Now, this is where the nuances really come into play, because this is really important. So if you just say, hey, great to meet you, I'm a realtor and I want to sell you a house, people aren't going to be connecting with you, right? If you come across as too salesy, they're not going to want to connect with you. But if you kind of create this rapport on the connection message, then they'll connect with you. And then from there, they'll be opted into our sequence of follow-up messages. So something simple like, notice on LinkedIn that we have a few mutual connections and we share similar experiences. Looking forward to networking with you. Something simple like that. They'll then accept your connection request, and then we'll set the timer. So an hour later or 24 hours later, whatever you feel comfortable with, we'll send out a follow-up message. Now, this is a message where we like to kind of really go for the sale, more or less, while also offering value. So the trick here, and then again, you can do all of this manually, but our system lets you do it automatically. So the trick with writing a good script for messaging people on LinkedIn is you want to create the rapport, you want to offer value, and then you want to ask for business. So creating rapport is like, hey, we have mutual connections, we share similar experiences. Hey, I see you're a veteran, so am I. Hey, it looks like we both went to the same university. That's great. So you want to create that rapport up front. You then want to offer value. I'm one of the top realtors in the area. I wanted to let you know that I'm happy to help with any questions you may have. I'm offering complimentary market consultations. A lot of value is really added when you offer like $1,000 credit at closing costs or some sort of credit or home valuation or something that they would see as value. So you offer value and then you ask for business. Are you interested in arranging a call? Here's my calendar. And the trick with the call to action is you want to keep it safe and simple, right? So we highly recommend inserting your Calendly account or whatever scheduler you're using, so they can simply click on the link and find a time to talk with you. So, here's one. It's like, put in your arrange a call if you're interested in chatting. Here's my calendar. If you don't have Calendly, you can say what times work for you, and we can set up a time to chat. But from there, you have to log in every day. You have to be responding back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you finally arrange a time. If they don't reply to that, we'll send out one more follow-up message, and that's kind of like more of like a nudge, just so they think that you're not a bot, but you're actual real person. Hey, let me know if you're interested in chatting about real estate. Thanks. And then we stop. And it's simple. And from there, you would be surprised at how many messages you get. Like, messages start pouring in. Here's another quick example of a good script. Lindsay Nakorchuk, which I'll show you later on, she's one of our top clients. She has an amazing script where she's offering basically to make a donation in your name whenever you buy or sell a home through her. There's a program called Sell a Home, Save a Child. And again, people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And so if you're making a donation to a reputable charity, $1,000 may not make much of a difference for you in buying a home or a credit, but if you are donating towards a charity that they also have a lot of passion for, the chances of them wanting to work with you is much higher. So, like I mentioned before, we send out 100 invite messages a day on your behalf, and results start pouring in. Our average client is getting over 600 new connections on LinkedIn every month, which leads to over 100 plus conversations and multiple face-to-face meetings, if that's what your call to action is. So this is every single month. So you can imagine how this would multiply over the course of a year. I mean, I have over 17,000 connections now on LinkedIn, and I've been doing this for about a year and a half. So, I mean, and the more connections you have on LinkedIn, the more relationships you have in the community, the more reputable you are as a realtor on LinkedIn, the more you appear as a subject matter expert. There's a lot of positive externalities to having an extensive network on LinkedIn. So start building up that network, messaging people every day, and setting appointments. It's super simple.
So Casey, when do I get to dig into some of the different campaigns and different strategies that we employ?
Go for it. Yeah. So Sean's been like our guinea pig. He's been kind of using this for real estate and been crushing it. So I'll let him kind of share some of his best practices that he's been using. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we should do. Yeah. So so we have a lot of different success stories. Lindsay made over $70,000 in commission within a 6-month period using our system. Oh, Sean, one other thing before we kind of start getting into examples, and this is key, absolutely key, is every one of your new connections that you make on LinkedIn, we can send you a downloadable CSV file of all of their contact information. So now you can upload them into your CRM, like Follow Boss, Firepoint, Boomtown, whatever you're using. You can put them into customized email drip sequences, all via email rather than just LinkedIn. So now they're seeing you not only on LinkedIn, but now email. You can even upload that list as a custom audience onto Facebook, and you can start remarketing them on Facebook as well. So yeah, so that means value number one is instant direct messaging. Value number two is the massive increase in your contact database, your sphere of influence. And the value number three is just like the overall branding of your profile. Having 17,000 connections on LinkedIn, that's gotten us tons of business for our own realtor practice. I mean, Sean and I have done probably 10 or 20 million in sales just from LinkedIn prospecting in the past couple of years. So yeah, Sean, so I'll let you kind of dive into some good strategies and some good kind of maybe I can go into like Sales Navigator and show them how that works.
Oh, you know what? I'm not allowed to share my screen for some reason. Host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Let me share actually, I can probably go back to that and
So, there's so many different campaigns, and the hard part about explaining LinkedIn to people, it's not like there's this specific roadmap that you use. It's really going to come down to your personality, what area you work, what are your past experiences, and we really use that as kind of a platform to figure out what would be the best campaign for you. So in looking at campaigns, I always use this example of Beverly Hills because it's an easy zip code to remember, 90210, right? So when you start playing around on Sales Navigator, you start to really learn the power of LinkedIn and all the different target audiences you can apply. So first of all, the geography. You can go within 10 miles, within 5 miles of different zip codes. You can do location, you can do California, you can do Texas, you can do, depending on what you're looking for. So geography is very important. You can keep it hyper local, or you can expand it, substantially. So you look at the geography, and then you want to figure out, okay, let's say I went to UCLA. So this is, I'm going to do a 5 mile radius of this postal code of 90210. And let's say I want to search people who went to school at, let's just say USC, which is even smaller. So just in a 5 mile radius of 90210, you've got 21,000 people who went to USC. So if you want to create a campaign, like a quote unquote, like a Trojan campaign, go Trojans, or whatever you want to do, you can reach out to people. Hey, first name, I see you went to USC. That's great. We'd love to connect. So then they connect. And after they connect, hey, just want to introduce myself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However we want to create a campaign, or however you want to create a campaign, to reach out to these people that all went to USC. It's up to you, and we have definitely, we're constantly learning, but we've got a lot of experience in how to make effective campaigns. So
yeah, and just so you know, so our alumni campaign is probably one of our most effective campaigns. I mean, again, the whole I want to do business with folks who I know, like, and trust. I mean, I would much rather work with someone who went to UCSB, which is where I went to undergrad, or UCSD, which is where I went to grad school. Because then you get chit chat about, like, the old times and how I used to live in a motorhome along IV and all the different parties. You just want to be able to create that rapport, right? In fact, we are closing a deal right now with someone who I met in grad school, who I reconnected with on LinkedIn. Literally today, Sean just met with her. So, like, it is the best way to create rapport, and you can use their search filters to find the right people. Some of our other really good campaigns are our Local Heroes program. So we can find people who work in healthcare, or are firefighters, or like the police department, or educators, etc. People who are kind of contributing to society or the community in some capacity. And we can say, hey, thanks so much for everything that you do for our community. I have lots of friends and family who are in healthcare, and I really respect what you do for our community. In fact, I wanted to offer you our Local Heroes program, which is a $1,000 credit at closing if you allow me to help you with the next home purchase or sale. That's a really popular one. I mean, like the whole veteran program is huge. Like Homes for Heroes, like you find veterans from within LinkedIn, and you can reach out to them. And there's just so many ways you can, like, find people that you want to be reaching out to and have a certain niche, and then create that rapport, offer value, and ask for business.
Yeah. Just a couple other examples here. So I brought it back to my community, which is Ventura, California. And there's a large company in the area called Amgen. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Amgen before. They're a pharmaceutical company and developer. So we're taking a look at this going, all right, within X amount of miles, we've got 6,000 people who work at Amgen, and we can reach out to them directly. Send them a connection request, and then follow up messaging with them. And what's really interesting here is if you look at Sales Navigator, there's also ways to look at people who've changed jobs in the last 90 days. So there's kind of like the like nectar of home buying, selling, refinancing, needing a loan, etc. People who have changed jobs in the last 90 days are either just moving to the area to work at Amgen, already live in the area, are working at Amgen, and maybe getting a promotion, or someone moving within the company. And usually people move up in title, not down in title. So change jobs in the last 90 days is a very effective campaign. And again, we can customize these campaigns for you. So if you work in, let's say you work in Dallas, Texas, you want to, I think Chase Bank is out there. There's different, I mean, every area's got their own large corporations. If you're in the Silicon Valley, obviously all the tech companies, your Apples, your Netflix, your Googles, and they're even spreading out around the country as well. So targeting specific companies for that audience. And to kind of change gears a little bit in the ways that I use LinkedIn in our system, it's also a great way to market your listings. So I've used this in the past. If I've got like a nice oceanfront listing in Ventura, Santa Barbara area, I can actually target within a specific geography of 75 miles. Let's take out the word Amgen. Let's do people who are owners of companies that are company headcounts 1,000 employees or more. So these are CEOs, CIOs, owners, product owner, founders. These are people, these are high quality prospects that I can now market my oceanfront luxury listings to these people directly. And I'll tell you what, when you go on a listing presentation and you explain this to a seller, because there's so much, real estate is so homogenous in a lot of ways. Hey, I make flyers, I put it on the MLS, I hold an open house. When we go into listing presentations, we're like, hey, we can target every CEO in a 25-mile radius of your property and send them direct messaging about your home. That their ears like perk up and they start to really get engaged in what you're doing, because you're doing marketing that's above and beyond what the average realtor is doing. And it's so huge. And this not only goes for getting a listing, it goes for getting a price reduction. If you're asking for a price reduction, what's the first thing a seller is going to say? They're going to say, what are you going to do differently now that you weren't doing before that's going to help? If I reduce my price, what are you going to do different? There you go. I'm going to market directly to you.
And so part of the fun of this is part of the fun of like Sean and I have when we have our discovery calls is we get to customize this solution specific to what you're looking to do to use it for, right? So if you have like a beachfront listing or a luxury listing you want to start marketing to CEOs of large companies, we can like find the right people for you and we can put your listing in front of them. If you wanted to, if you're like a broker and you're trying to recruit agents onto your team, rather than trying to find buyers and sellers, we can find real estate agents, real estate brokers who have more than 10 years of experience, who live in your area, who don't work at Keller Williams or don't work at EXP or wherever you are. We can make sure that we find the right realtors for you to recruit. If you have an investment property that you're looking to sell, like a quadplex or something like that, we can find real estate investors. So, I mean, the best part is if you can think of a use case for LinkedIn, we can find the right people on LinkedIn for you and present whatever you're trying to sell. And again, it's the most targeted way of doing it. I mean, even if you use like Facebook ads, especially now because Facebook has really restricted what kind of demographics we're allowed to target to on Facebook. You can't discriminate based on age or gender, or obviously you shouldn't do that. But with LinkedIn, there's all these little kind of secrets that we've kind of figured out over the past couple of years. So for example, if you're a loan officer and you're trying to find people who just retired, you can search for people who have retired because you want to send them maybe like a reverse mortgage option, but you can't really find any information on age from LinkedIn until we figured out a little secret. You can essentially reverse engineer age by searching for keywords of when they graduated from college. So we can say someone who graduated from college from 1975 to 1979 or whatever the age is for retirement. And then we can probably assume that if someone graduated from college in 1979, they're probably 65 years old or whatever it might be. So there's a lot of things that we can figure out. So if you can figure out the right type of value offering and kind of just tell us what an audience is that you're looking for, we can find them on LinkedIn, and we send out 100 invite messages a day. We start connecting with them. We start creating these relationships. And literally all you have to do is log into LinkedIn once a day and respond to people. So I'm going to show something too. So do you want to make me host again?
I'm just going to stop screen share. And I'm going to make you host.
Reclaim host, I got it. So I'm going to share my screen. I want to show you how easy it is, because a lot of our clients love what we do, and they get a little frustrated with the follow-up, because you get probably 5 to 10 inbound messages a day, and it can seem overwhelming. But let me show you just a few little tricks. So LinkedIn recently, they implemented a search filter where you can archive good leads. So if you simply search for all your messages on LinkedIn, there's going to be outbound messages beneath inbound messages, beneath connections, etc. But if you find a good lead, so this guy is a good lead, for example, and I just archived him. I was offering him, a home valuation, and he responds saying, "Thanks, I'll take a look. I'm actually considering buying a home in Santa Barbara. So if you see any good deals, I'd be more than interested in looking at them. Mainly 2 or 3 beds under $800,000. So this is obviously a really good lead. I then responded back to him. I sent him my calendar. We scheduled a call, and now he's a client of ours. But what I wanted to show you is you can also simply archive them, right? So when you archive them as a good lead, they go into this folder, and now all of your good leads are over here. So this person, she's not looking to buy, but she coincidentally has a referral for us. So there's a good lead. I need to follow up with her. This guy, Chris, he responds saying, "Wondering if you have a good reference for understanding local laws on ADU granny suite." So this isn't really like a good buyer or seller, but this is a good relationship. If I help this guy, Chris, figure out how to manage auxiliary dwelling units or granny flats here in Santa Barbara, chances are when he does decide to buy or sell, he's going to look to me.
Yeah, so this is really a time saver. So the process is you're going to be, you're going to get all these messages every day. You go through it and you cherry pick the ones that you want to reply to. And then the ones that seem like they've got some legs, you go ahead and archive it. And you can go back and continue to follow up with the people and archive until you take those people and put them into whatever CRM that you're using. And we actually do have technology too that can help do that, called Zapier, that we've integrated with our system. This is,
go ahead, Sean.
But this is basically a mini CRM inside of LinkedIn where you can search by unread, you can search by archive, you can search by all mail, you can search by their name, search by their title, a lot of different things.
So another little benefit too of this is the amount of activity you get as a result. So I'm gonna show you some of my recent posts. I haven't done that many posts recently, and these are the ones that you want to kind of keep relatively authentic. So we just went under contract on a house that we sold recently, 1,000 views. We sold a property to our friend, 1,400 views. A video, 400 views. But like I mentioned a little bit earlier, when you have 17,000 connections on LinkedIn and you post things onto your newsfeed, the algorithm that LinkedIn uses is way more generous to organic posts from the users. 2,000 views from a post that we did a couple months ago about how we closed 3 deals in the past week. In fact, this video or this image you see here is an image from a closing that we had from, it's a $2 million house here in Santa Barbara that we generated from LinkedIn. So And so it kind of just comes around full circle. So it pays you once on the front end when you close the deal, and it pays you twice because as you grow your network, you start to have a lot more exposure.
Hey, Casey.
Yes.
Lou Sanderson asked a pretty good question. What about connections they already have on LinkedIn?
So there's two options there. So we can message them directly if you wanted us to, but initially that wouldn't be the value that our company or our system can offer. Because if they're already in your network, you already have access to their contact information. They're not growing your network anymore by talking to them, right? So we're limited to 100 messages a day. And so I would say a better option is to kind of put your current connections to the side and let us grow your network by reaching out to targeted prospects on LinkedIn that you're looking to network with. So, and then after like maybe 4 or 5 months of using our services and you've grown your network from 1,000 to say 5,000 people on LinkedIn, at that point, if you want to kind of then promote a listing or if you want to then send them a direct message via LinkedIn using our system, you can do that. But I would say for the time being, when you first start, you want to be growing your network by sending out connection requests.
Yeah. So I kind of jump in here. I mean, there's so many options. For us, LinkedIn has been such a benefit. And really the best way to kind of do a deep dive into your personal business is to schedule a demo with one of our salespeople and learn how to leverage LinkedIn to the nth degree, either using our system or trying it on your own. I mean, obviously our system is like the easy button, right? And yes, it does cost money, but it's saving you time. What I say is we're digitally door knocking for you on LinkedIn to targeted audiences. So what really gets fun is when we're talking to someone, let's say that they're from a feeder city, like in Aspen, Colorado. We're working with a client right now who goes, well, I don't want to message anyone from my area, because people are all transitory. They're all here in the winter, they're here in the summer. It's a very absentee owner community. What I want to do is I want to target agents in all the different feeder cities. We're looking for Houston. We're looking for New York. We're looking for Los Angeles, San Francisco. And I want to target agents who've got more than 10 years experience that work for all the luxury brands, the Sotheby's, the Douglas Elliman, et cetera, et cetera. And she wants to target those people. But I would have never thought about that. And just talking to her, that would be her highest and best use of our system. So ultimately, you really do want to schedule an appointment, and all of our salespeople are super skilled. You're welcome to, we're a small company. You're welcome to ask for us specifically if you wanted to talk to my brother or I to help really customize something for you. But again, starting with one of our people that's, trained, and frankly, a lot of them probably know more than we do at this point as far as campaigns, but making sure it's a good fit for you, because everyone's a little bit different. Everyone's going to have their own specialty. We have people that are transitioning from the entertainment industry into real estate, and they want to only target people who are, who've worked in the music business. There's such a variety of what people want. And very, very rarely is there a situation where like, man, we're scratching our heads going, I can't really think of a good way to market to those people, so really suggest scheduling an appointment, doing kind of a 30-minute deep dive into your business specifically, and how this system and how LinkedIn can be applied to your business to help drive sales and get your sales numbers up. Because it's I don't want to say it's untapped, but in the real estate industry and the lending world, very, very few people use LinkedIn effectively. And that's something that we really pride ourselves on, that we've really are continuing to discover new ways. But right now it's working for us, and it's been a huge help, and we really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, we're a company of realtors for realtors, right? I mean, or for real estate professionals. We have lenders and we have real estate agents on our platform for the most part. And we have used our own business as a guinea pig, so we know what exactly the right scripts are for whatever our goal is at that moment. And so, what I really enjoy doing is yeah, like I said earlier, really digging deep into your business model, to your niche, and kind of helping to craft the right prospecting message to tailor in like the right search for you. And so, yeah, the best thing to do is to schedule a call with our team. And by the way, all of our team has real estate experience. One of our salespeople, she's getting her license right now. One of our other salesperson, he's worked for large real estate tech companies like Agentology, and so we all understand all like the problems and the woes of the real estate practice, the real estate industry. So we know how to leverage our system to help alleviate those pains. Anything else? Are there any other questions from the audience?
Yeah, so just to kind of reiterate, to kind of jump into like lenders, a lot of lenders use our system as well. A lot of them do it for recruiting. Is probably our number one reason why lenders like to work with our system, is to help recruit loan officers, and also starting commentary regarding rates and whatnot. Say, hey, if you're ever interested in me quoting you an interest rate, we should talk, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so many use cases for our system. It's hard to really fit it in. That's why we really push on like, hey, set up an appointment and let's figure out how this can work best for you. In terms, Casey, someone mentioned pricing.
Yeah, so pricing is flat. So it's really easy pricing. We have one price. It's $270 a month for our services. And then we also require clients to have Sales Navigator. Just full disclosure. Sales Navigator is a LinkedIn premium account, and that's an additional $80. So our services are $270 a month, but we are offering a current promotion where if you sign up and then you mention this webinar to our sales team, we'll give you 50% off of your first month, and we'll waive the $299 setup fee. So waive setup fee and half off your first month if you sign up and mention this webinar. And I think Sales Navigator gives you $80 or gives you their services for free for a month too. So to test it out, it's $135. And so I would give it a shot and see if you like it. It's one of those systems where it pays off more if you kind of stick with it long term. But we don't really have any long-term contracts. The $270 price point is for a 3-month contract. That's only because we think that 3 months is the right amount of time to really start seeing business come out of this. If you think about it, that's like $1,000 investment, and to guarantee a deal for $1,000 investment, it is extremely valuable. So, yeah, give it a shot. And like, we love working with realtors and helping you out. So, we love customizing things.
So, Casey, if you could put in that code that they can mention for the 50% off, so they can tell the salesperson, if you can put that in the chat, and kind of closing on this. And Casey, are we pretty much finished here? Because I kind of have some closing thoughts.
Wrap this up.
Yeah. So real estate, as you all know, is just, you're busy, 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 busy. And one of the first thing that goes away when you're busy is your prospecting. And everyone knows that to create as steady as you can stream of income in real estate, you need to continually prospect. And one of our influencers, Frank Gray, he works with the National Real Estate Post, him and Brian Stevens. Frank Gray put it the other day really well. And he's dabbling in real estate. He's primarily National Real Estate Post, which probably most of you heard of. He goes, I love MyLink solution because when I get busy and I don't have time to prospect for that day, I can go to bed feeling okay, and I can sleep better knowing that your system was prospecting for me throughout the day, so that in a day or two, when I can catch up and I got a moment, I can go back and service these people. So we've got a system where we're really trying to enable the tech-enabled agent, using technology, using automation to help make our lives easier, is something that really inspired us, because we've all gone to bed at night going, man, I should have called that person man, I haven't talked to so-and-so in the last, 3 months. I need to talk to him. So the prospecting it's so hard to be consistent with and keep up with. And our system is a great way to make you sleep better at night. Know that you prospected, even if you didn't get around to it that day. You spend 15 minutes the next day and you follow up with people. So anyways, that's my 2 cents as the realtor. Yeah. Any other questions? You're welcome to reach out to us, individually. Set up a demonstration where we can customize something for you. But thank you all so much for listening to us. Any questions, let us know, and we'd love to chat with you one of these days soon.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again. We will send out a recording of this as well. But if you want a personalized demonstration, just schedule a demo on our website, mylinkedsolution.com, and we'll go from there. Thanks again for joining. All right, have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.